Hi, it's me, Ingrid INFP, and I've been having a good day today, actually. It goes up and down, but the past few days have been terrible, so I am really happy that I'm feeling better. Uh, it only took 3 days of feeling terrible before I could feel kind of okay. And so I thought that we'd go through what I did at the library today. Because I was at the library. I'm always at the library for different things. Last it was because because my phone and I needed to use a phone, and they said no, you can't use the phone. I was like, okay. We live in a world where phones, you can't even make a phone call at the library. There aren't even public telephones anymore. But anyway, I finally was able to order a new SIM card online so that I can finally use my phone. But because I can't use my phone right now, I've had to use my Wi-Fi at the library or at home. And between my home and the library, I have been listening to an audiobook. That's basically my life right now. Then I'll buy like a chocolate and then I will go home. Also, I found out that my apartment is now on the website to be rented out to somebody new. So a guy is going to be coming from my landlord's landlord, the person who owns, well, the company that owns this apartment building is going to be renting this out, and they need to come first next week and check if there are any holes in the walls and if I've messed up anything. And obviously there are certain things that have been a little bit messed up since I started here. The toilet has been having problems, but it's not my fault, you know. It's kind of how it is. But I'm really worried that I'm going to have to take down my whole poster wall of stuff because they'll want to look if there are any holes on that wall. It's like, I haven't made any holes in the walls. And also I've had to clean. So now my house is pretty clean. I'm pretty proud of myself for cleaning. Like something that I do just like once every year or so. I don't do a lot of cleaning. Like the amount of cleaning that I did today is probably what some people do every weekend, you know. But anyway, I did some cleaning and threw some things out, and I left some things at the secondhand boutique. And I did some spring cleaning. So it was pretty good. The audiobook that I'm listening to is this book, Stöld, that is a Swedish book. It's not translated in English that I know of, by Ann-Helen Laestadius. It's about the Sápmi people. So they are reindeer herders in the north of Sweden, in north of Norway, Sweden, Finland. And they used to be a nomadic people, and they speak Sápmi language, but there are several different dialects of that. The Swedes colonized them, basically, forced them into these boarding schools where they were only forced, like they could only speak Swedish. They were punished if they spoke their native language, much like Native Americans in the United States. So I mean, Sweden does have a colonialist past. It's not just Americans, and it's not just the British, you know, it's also French people and Dutch and Portuguese and Spanish, and you know, I'm probably forgetting some, Australian. There are all sorts of indigenous peoples that have been hurt, that have generational trauma because of this. And in this book, the young girl, the protagonist, is 9 years old at the beginning, and her reindeer has been brutally murdered by one of the non-Sápmi people in their town. And it talks a little bit about like the culture that she lives in, and seen through the eyes of a 9-year-old child. There are certain, I like that the audiobook, like she actually says the Sápmi words with a Sápmi accent. Like I think that the person who's narrating is probably part Sápmi. And it's a pretty interesting book because I hadn't really considered, well, I had considered, when I was small, I really wanted to see the reindeer and the Northern Lights and all that. I really like the book, the Northern Lights series by Philip Pullman. That trilogy with the American version is the Golden Compass and all that. His Dark Materials, that's the name of the series. I was really into that with like the polar bears and the landscapes. And when I was little, I actually went to a dog sled workshop that was with my dad's work, back when my dad had perks from his work. With the years, he got less and less perks until he got no more perks at all, which is kind of on par with society. But when I was little, he still had perks. One of the perks is that I got to fly in a small airplane. And because I wanted to be a pilot when I was little, so I got to fly in a, I mean, this was pretty dangerous. My mom, when she found out afterwards, got really mad at me and my dad for going on this. Because basically this was like a tiny, tiny airplane by the Alps, if we crashed into one of those mountains, anyway. But I found it so cool that I got to sit there and, have the headphones and everything. But so one of those other things was going on the sledding with the with the huskies. But what happened to me, obviously, having no SC, my sled, the two spokes of the sled I got stuck into a tree, and the dogs kept running, and I was like stuck in the tree, and I kind of pushed myself away, but I kind of hit the tree with like some force, so I was kind of pushed back. But that kind of scared me off from that. I always thought that it would be like so interesting to go live in the north. Anyway, that book was really eye-opening about that kind of thing. I'm about a third of the way in or something. Then I got The Picture of Dorian Gray. I haven't read this book. My brother had to read it for school. I've seen the movie. It was pretty good. Oscar Wilde is the topic of... my library is pretty good, except for the fact that they don't have a public telephone. It's really good for the size of the town. They have these like expos, or like, what do you call it? Exhibits that like school children make, or like people in the community make, or that they make themselves. And this week it was Oscar Wilde. And all of the crazy quotes that Oscar Wilde said, because Oscar Wilde was gay and a dandy, and he hated women. So he did not understand women. So there is a big quote on the wall about him not understanding women, which is pretty weird. It's pretty weird because if you didn't know, you would think that there's like an anti-feminist quote on the wall, an actively sexist quote, but it's actually because he was gay and he did not understand women. And he was just expressing his misunderstanding of women. He wasn't just expressing that he hated them. He was just like confused by them. Also, Oscar Wilde was a pretty dramatic, limp wrist guy. I say that as also, gay person, but he, I'm glad, like that he was a person who dressed like that and that time, he got prosecuted, like he got sent to trial because of his sexuality. I forget if he got sent to prison or if he had to pay a fine or what it was, but it was really brave at that time to be out in public. And a part of that was what inspired some of Sherlock Holmes, because it was the same year, 1895, of the Oscar Wilde trials, that there's a certain, I forget what, but something about Sherlock Holmes. And, there's always been a certain rumor that Watson and Holmes are kind of gay for each other. So there's all that story of different references. I mean, like Oscar Wilde and Arthur Conan Doyle, like they knew each other. Arthur Conan Doyle was straight, very straight, but Oscar Wilde was very gay. So I decided I'm going to finally read this book because, like, it's a book that I need to have read at some point in my life, according to me at least. I also have been reading Loveless. Oh, that was my bookmark for some book. Anyway, Loveless is, I've been procrastinating reading this because it does bring some feelings for me. It's about an asexual young adult and her feeling like alienated by the rest of society and trying to come to terms and coming of age story kind of. There are a lot of things that I kind of relate to that I never thought I would ever see in my life, see in a book. Back in 2014 when I was still figuring out like if I was bi or if I was straight or if I was gay or what it was. I didn't know. I found out asexuality was a thing, but I thought, well, I can't be that because I feel attraction sometimes, maybe. But, reading this book, I'm like, oh, well, yeah, I am pretty much asexual. This is my experience. The truth or dare. Like, I always picked truth because I knew that nobody could get anything out of me because I didn't have a crush on anybody. And basically, truth is about crushes. We all know this. So, I would say, no, I don't have a crush on anybody. And then people would tell me that I was lying because, of course, I had to have a crush. And it was like, no. And I would get all flustered. So then actually I did want to play that game. There's also the fact that, like, I would pretend to have a crush on somebody because it was just easier that way. And also, like, I would reject every single guy who, like, had any kind of crush on me, which wasn't many, but, it kind of makes me sad because, I seem like a prudish person. Anyway, this book is for slightly younger adults because it is about young adult stuff and it's kind of cheesy on the edges and her friends are kind of annoying, let us say it that way. But we have to remind ourselves that these are just like 18-year-olds trying to figure out life. But it is one of the only asexual representation books that I feel like actually talks about the struggles that asexual people face. So I am planning on reading that. However, the audiobook was terrible. The voice was so monotone, so I'm not doing that in audiobook format. And then I got this book about Japan. It's National Geographic, and it's a book about Japan, and it has funny, like it has things about like Japanese culture and history, and it has different parts of Japan. Unfortunately, I did look up Takayama. Let's see where it was. It was somewhere in this region. But it does not reference the cult, which is a big miss from this book. This book that has like 10,000 places, which I will never go to. Like if I even go to 0.0001% of the things that are in this book, I will be extremely happy. But it has different like places and like throughout Japan, and it talks about different experiences that you can go to. You can go to this temple place, and they sometimes have like these walks that you can go on to different places, and sometimes they'll have like some kind of cultural, these are the demons that are in Japan, like they have these scary masks and stuff. And I think that is one of the most comprehensive things out there. Then they talk about like all sorts of different things. I thought it was funny because for Tokyo they had a picture. Wait, I need to find a picture. It's a picture of like, this is something that you must experience. You must experience the the subway, which this is the picture. The picture is everybody is getting themselves into the in Shinjuku station every day, in the Shiketetsu, right? I think that's the word for subway. And there are these people that are there just to push the people in. It says experience, feel the Shinjuku squeeze. Yeah. Anyway, I try to avoid that. I was looking at autistic creators who have actually gone on trips, and it seems like it's the trend right now for autistic people to go on trips, because they haven't been able to because of COVID, I guess, and now they're finally plucking up the courage to go on a trip. So I watched Dana Anderson. She went to the United States. She went to California with her best friend, who is in a wheelchair. So that was extra difficult for them to do that traveling. But it's inspiring to see, like, what do they pack? How do they accommodate for travel being difficult and doubly difficult for an autistic person? How do they, what did they find was difficult? What did they like? And also the inspiration of them being able to go somewhere far away, and plucking up their own courage to do this. It's really inspiring. So I saw Dana Anderson going on her trip, and packing her sensory stuff in there, in her bag, and what she did pack or not pack, and the sunflower lanyard, that is the symbol of hidden disabilities, which helps in certain cases apparently and not in others. Certain airports, they are trained, the staff is trained to recognize the sunflower lanyard is basically a green lanyard with sunflowers on it. And if they see that, that means that you might need extra assistance. So they'll, like, in certain places, they will come up to you and ask if you need any help, or they will just silently show you where you can get more help, or that kind of thing. I found that was a really interesting concept. And I saw that several of these autistic creators have used that with varying effects. Some people actually got some extra care and attention, and some people it wasn't recognized anywhere, and some people it was just it was recognized, but they didn't. The staff member who recognized it did not know what to do. So things are moving in the right direction, but I also looked at what a mom on the spectrum, I think, went to Florida, or was it Hawaii? And I Am Mind Blind went to Hawaii or Florida. I forget which one went where. But they were kind of burnt out after their experience. But they showed also what they kind of packed, and they brought like snacks that reminded them home. There's also this other YouTuber, but I forget what his name is. He's really good about talking about his disabilities. He's autistic and has Ehlers-Danlos and fibromyalgia. And he's really, like, he goes on a rant. He's really well informed about these sorts of things. But he went to New York, and it was so difficult for him to just like get from the airport to his hotel that he actually hired a person to like pick him up from the airport and like drive him there. So he found an accommodation in that way, because ordering an Uber, that was way too complicated. So I saw all of these different tips and tricks, like having noise cancelling headphones, making sure that you have a list of things to pack. I have started a list here, things to pack for Japan and things to check out. I need to bring my sleeping mask, and I like to procrastinate from thinking about my administrative things by thinking about administrative things that are important for Japan, which is pretty funny. But it's always more fun to plan for a trip than to plan for your daily life, right? So here at the end of the book, they have like the metro stations, and they have the festivals and stuff. And they have all sorts of things. And like what kinds of hostels there are, and how, like, what to say when you go to a restaurant. I just know itadakimasu is thank you, like, you know, when you're like going to bon appetit, you know, like I don't know much else. I know some words from my my Duolingo prowesses. Anyway, I hope that you guys are having a great day. That was my book haul. I have ordered certain books from my library that they might be getting soon. One of them is about cults, and one of them is about Unmasking Autism by Devon Price. So I hope that I get those soon, but because I don't have a phone that works, I might not be getting a notification for when those books come in. So I might be waiting for a while. Anyway, have a great day, everybody. Bye.